Hello. We are working on 7.2. We're going to take a look at continuing multiplying groups of numbers. So using double distribution or the box method or expanded. So I'm going to work through each one of these problems and just show you a variety of different methods for doing these. You just pick whichever one works best for you and go with that. 7.1 was a lot of multiplying binomials by binomials. That's two terms times two terms. In 7.2, we'll dive a little bit into two terms times three terms, and that's about as far as we're going to go for the purpose of this lesson and this unit. So we always check to see what operation is taking place. So if I have a plus or a minus in between my groups of numbers, I know these are adding and subtracting. If there's nothing in between them, if we just have, like we have here, parentheses next to each other, that means that we're multiplying. We're saying we're taking this whole group and we want to multiply it with this whole group. So I'm going to show you the box method. This is the way that a lot of us worked on last time. And so we take our two terms, and it doesn't matter if you put them on top or if you put them on the side. They just need to stay together. So I'm going to put these two on the side. So I have a 4m and a negative 4. And then I have these two terms. I'm going to put them across the top. So I'm going to have a 3m and a negative 3. And then our terms are multiplying together to create whatever number goes in the corresponding box. So for this box, it's going to be a 4m times a negative 3. So we're going to multiply these out. I'm going to go 4m times 3m. We do our base numbers. 4 times 3 is 12. And m times m will give us m squared, m to the power of 2. I'm now going to work on this box. So I'm taking 4m and I'm multiplying it with a negative 3, and 4m times negative 3 is negative 12m. Okay, and then down here in this box, we're doing 3m times negative 4, which will give us a negative 12m. And then finally, in our last box, a negative 4 times a negative 3 is a positive 12. When we do the box method, it's a little bit easier to see and organize what is multiplying with what. It's a little bit more difficult, though, to identify your like terms. So your like terms in the box are going to be diagonal from each other. So look, these both have an m to the first power. So 12m to the second power, that box doesn't have any like term boxes. And positive 12 doesn't have any like term boxes. So I'm going to have 3 terms to my answer. I'm going to have a 12m squared, and I'm going to have a positive 12. Those didn't change, but I do need to put these two together. I just need to count them up. I'm not multiplying. I'm adding and subtracting at this point. So I'm just counting them up. If I have negative 12m's and negative 12m's, I have negative 24m's. So then this would be the solution to that problem. Okay, let's take a look at another example. For this one, I'm going to use expanded. So here's how expanded works. I'm going to take the first term, and I'm going to multiply it times this whole group. And then I'm going to take my second term and multiply it with my blue group. So I'm going to have 5v multiplied with v minus 3. I'm going to have 5 multiplied with v minus 3. And so now I'm just going to work this out. I'm going to say it's just like a single distribution problem. So 5v times v will give me 5v squared. 5v times negative 3 will give me negative 15v. My second group, 5 times v gives me 5v. I'm going to stack that underneath my other v. 5 times negative 3 gives me negative 15. So here are my answers from my first set. Here are my answers from my second set. And now I'm just going to combine. So this one didn't have anybody. This one makes a negative 10v, and this is negative 15. So there's our answer. I prefer this way because I can stack and line up my like terms. They're easier to see. The box, sometimes a little bit harder to find your like terms. They are going to be your diagonals, but sometimes it's just harder to tell. All right, here's another example. R times R. Okay, so this one I'm going to use double distribution. So I'm going to take my first term and I'm going to multiply R times R, R squared, R times negative 4, negative 4R. And then I'm going to take my second term and distribute. So negative 4 times R is negative 4R. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. This is, so the multiplication that we have to do is the same in every method. If you're using the box, if you're using the expanded, or if you're doing double distribution. The actual math calculations that you have to do for each problem is exactly the same. I would still have to, in the box or in expanded, I would still have to multiply R times R. I'm still going to have to multiply R times negative 4. I have to multiply negative 4 times R, and I have to multiply negative 4 times negative 4. So the work is the same. It's just how you organize it, whichever way you feel is best for you to organize it. All right, I'm going to jump down here. For this one, I'm going to do double distribution again. It's the way I prefer to do it the most. So I'm going to take 10p and multiply that with 5p. And that's going to give me 50p squared. I'm going to take 10p and multiply that with 1, and that's going to give me 10p. Then I'm going to take the 6 and multiply that with 5p to get 30p, and 6 times 1 to get positive 6. And then I just combine my middle terms, my like terms. So 50p squared plus 40p plus 6. All right, I'm going to take a look at these last couple problems here. This is just, it's the same exact thing that we've been doing, but now we have 3 terms to deal with. So I'm going to show you the box, I'm going to show you expanded, and I'm going to show you distribution. So 3 more problems. So for this one, I'll do the box. I'm going to do a box of 2, so 4x and positive 5. And I'm actually going to make my box a little bit bigger so that there's lots of room for me to write numbers and stuff inside of it. So the box is nice because it organizes everything, but you do have to make sure you draw a good size box for these. So 4x plus 5 I wrote down on the side, and then all 3 of these are going to get written here. So 3x squared, positive 3x, and positive 3. All right, and now we just start multiplying out to get our numbers in the boxes. So my first box, that's going to make 12x to the third. In my next box, it's going to make 12x squareds, because because x to the second, x to the first gives us a third. X to the first, x to the first gives us a second. And if there's no x and an x, we're just going to get a regular x. So this is going to give me 12x to the first. In my bottom row, 15, that's 3 times 5 is 15, and then x squared. And then I'm doing 15, 3 times 5, x, and then just regular 15. I'll try to color coordinate this for you here. So no common. This one has 2 common. This one has 2 common. And this one has no common. So your edges don't have common factors, and your diagonals do. So my blue 12x to the third plus, I have to combine these, 12 plus 15. You should get 27. And then I have to combine these, same math work though, so 27x, and then 15 at the end. So that's the box. It's not bad, but when it comes to adding and subtracting at the end, it's a little bit, you have to kind of hunt around and look for those diagonals. Let me show you expanded on this one. So for expanded, we take our first term times the whole group, and we take our second term times the whole group, okay? So this is going to be 2x times x squared and then this one's 2x. And then I just do, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to write 2x there. What I meant to write was a 1. Okay, so I multiply my first, 2x to the third, 2x okay, and then I multiply my second. Anything times 1 just isn't going to change, so this is going to give me a 1x squared. This is going to give me a positive x, and this is going to give me a negative 4. I like this way because I can stack my answers, and it's easier for me to count up how many of each thing there are. There are 3x squareds, there are negative 7 x's, and negative 4. So that's expanded. I like expanded because you can see it. It's a little bit of writing, but it's not quite as much setup and writing as the box. And then if you don't like writing at all and can do a lot of this in your head, you probably like the double distribution, in which case we're taking the 5r and distributing. Do this one in blue. So 5 times 8 is 40. R times r to the second is r to the third. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. R times r squared. 5 times negative 7, negative 35. R stays attached. My second group in red here, I like to go under. Negative 9 times 8 is going to give me negative 72, and that's r squared. So I'm going to go negative 72 r squareds. Negative 9 times negative 7 is going to give me a positive 63r. And negative 9 times negative 7, again, will give me a positive 63. I like being able to stack my work because when I go to count everything up, I don't have to look across. And so this is going to make a 7 and 107r squared. This one we have different signs, so we'll subtract. I'm just going to write the work off to the side instead of doing it here. So 63 minus 35, we have to borrow, You could just use a calculator, but I don't feel like it. So positive 28r plus 63. So there are 3 ways for doing these. You don't have to do all 3. You can just pick the one you like and go with it.